Let's speak to Jafari Ramini from London, a Palestinian writer and Middle East analyst. Good to have you on the programme, Jafari. We often hear those kind of lines from the Israeli government, don't we, that it is the fault of Hamas that civilians are being targeted, that Hamas are putting Palestinian civilians in harm's way. They're the ones firing the rockets, they're the ones digging the tunnels, and they're the ones using civilians as human shields.
This is, of course, completely nonsense. What is happening in Gaza now is part of an ongoing genocidal war against the Palestinian nation. And this has been going on since before 1948, before the creation of the State of Israel. We remember Deir Yassin in 1948. And there are so many that I will not list now. This is a policy of the Zionist movement to ethnically cleanse Palestine because they lust after the entire landmass of Palestine, preferably with no Palestinians in it, and if there are few, they should be subservient. Remember, the Zionists call us Goyems, which means non-Jews. The Goyems, according to the Zionists, are put on earth specially and specifically to serve the Jews. How could you reason with such doctrines?
I mean, these are
people?
very strong words that you're saying. Obviously, I've read some of what you've written. You say that it is Israeli government policy to have regular operations in Gaza to massacre large numbers of the population. And you say that this will happen regardless of any reasons that the Israeli government put forward, like, for example, Hamas are firing rockets, we have to stop Hamas firing rockets. You're saying this is regular government policy. I mean, that's a very strong accusation.
Well, it's not an accusation. I do not say that. I am quoting what they do. It is a policy that is called cutting the grass. And that is the article of my latest article. This is the title of my latest article. It started in Lebanon, in the Dahia, which is in southern Beirut, and the chap who proposed this hitting the civilian areas to make them to subjugate them and to make them either flee or rebel against their leaders is now the current Deputy Chief of Staff in Israel. Mr. Phelan, the Deputy Speaker of the Knesset, has said recently in writing that they should kill, and kill again and clear Gaza completely. It is not me who's saying this. I am quoting what they write and what they say.
Okay, can I ask you this?
And this all can be checked and verified.
There has, of course, been rising criticism of Israel's latest operation. The attack on the UN school, for example, Ban Ki-moon says that that's a criminal act. The French President, Francois Hollande, is calling for those to be held account. Even the US State Department has had very strong words of condemnation for Israel over that. Do you think the tide could be turning in terms of international support for this military operation?
The tide is definitely turning, but we know what will happen at the end. We've been through this path before. No matter what happens, unless America, the government of the United States of America, changes its stance of complete, utter support for Israel no matter what, and complete blanket diplomatic and political cover, nothing will change. The Americans are very fond of saying, we have your back to the Israelis. It's about time that the Americans started to think in humane terms and stop supporting Israel without any recourse. If I may remind you of what Moshe Dayan once said. He said Israel must be like a mad dog, too dangerous to bother. It's about time this dog is muzzled.
Thank you very much indeed for speaking with us. Interesting to get your thoughts there. Jafari Ramini, live from London there. Thank you.
Thank you.